As you can see, these jalapenos are just going crazy. We've got so many of them. We've been picking them off as we've been going, and at this point the bush is just so full. They're starting to die on the bush. We can't eat them fast enough. So we're gonna harvest the rest of this stuff today, and then in the next video we're gonna reset the entire bed and get it ready for the summer.
While I'm picking off these peppers, I thought I'd give you guys a few tips on how to grow a high-yielding jalapeno plant. We started growing these 3 jalapeno bushes about 5 months ago from seed, and I have to say, we found these to be one of the easiest plants to take care of here in Southwest Florida. Once they start fruiting, they do need a lot of water, but we didn't have much trouble with that, as they started fruiting just around the time of the year where we get a lot of rain. Make sure you pick off any of the early fruit that starts growing before the plant reaches 12 inches in height. You want your plant to put all of that energy into growing big and strong so it can support the weight of all these jalapenos. Jalapenos are a hardy plant, especially once it starts fruiting. We found that once it reaches about 12 inches in height, it's good to start picking off a few peppers here and there every now and then. It seems to encourage the plant to produce more fruit. As you'll see later in this video, this plant I'm harvesting now was the easiest to get to from the garden bed, so I picked from it the most, and consequently, this one produced the most fruit by far out of the 3 plants. So don't be afraid to pick as you go as the bush is still growing. As for nutrients, we didn't do too much. For starters, we have some compost in this bed, so that helped a bit, and we also added some Epsom salt. Early on, these peppers shared this garden bed with a bunch of other plants. But once the whole garden bed started showing some growth, we added some fish emulsion. And once the jalapenos got to around 6 inches tall, we added some tomato fertilizer that had a ratio of 4:6:3. And every now and then, I want to say maybe once a month, although it wasn't an exact science, we added some more fish emulsion. I'm really excited to try these jalapenos that have turned red. Some of you are probably familiar, but for those of you who don't know, jalapenos start out green like you most commonly see in the grocery stores. But if you let them grow a little bit longer, they will turn almost blackish in color, and eventually they'll turn red, like some of the ones you see here. In this harvest, we have a mixture of all 3 colors, and some are even in between. And I can't wait to try them all. The black and the red jalapenos tend to be a lot sweeter than the green jalapenos, as the red jalapenos are technically the ones that are ripe, and the green ones are not ripe. But all of them are good to eat and have their own unique properties. The red jalapeno is definitely sweeter, but it's also a bit spicier. So for those of you who like the spice, try letting your jalapeno sit on the vine a little bit longer. I'm very excited to eat these and incorporate them into our cooking. We definitely grew a lot more than we could eat, so we may attempt to harvest some of the seeds so we can grow more jalapenos in the future. So stay tuned for that, as we will likely be doing a video on the broader subject of seed harvesting. Overall, growing these jalapenos was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to grow more. Now back to my earlier point about picking off the jalapenos as the plant is growing. If you'll notice, these 2 plants have a much smaller yield than the first one. That's because of their location. Since they were deeper in the garden bed, it was much easier for me to pick the jalapenos that were up front. So I didn't really get to pick from these ones too much during their growing process. And as you can see, consequently, their yield wasn't as large. Although, overall, between these 3 plants, we definitely had a really good yield. In total, I counted about 89 jalapenos between the 3 plants, and that's not including the jalapenos that we picked off while they were growing. So I'd say this was a pretty good yield. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below.
Alright, there you have it. I can't believe how many jalapenos we got off of those 3 bushes. I mean, take a look at that gigantic pile of jalapenos. It's gonna take us a while, but we'll get through them all. Don't you worry. And that's it for this garden bed. In the next video, we're going to be resetting the entire bed, filling it up with our compost that we've been working on for some time now, and sowing some new seeds for the summer. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you next time, guys.